Wow. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Joe Concha. It's interesting, Joe. I heard one Democratic analyst who was being interviewed by Mike Emanuel out of Washington before this program began say, this Biden thing, this is old news. Well, do you agree? Is it old news, the fact that the president couldn't remember things, halfway through his first term?
No, John, it's the biggest story, perhaps, of our lifetimes in terms of covering political media. Here we had a president who could not remember basic things, and he was in charge of the nuclear codes. Apparently, he only worked from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. based on this book that's coming out in terms of cabinet members talking about his capacity and the national security nightmare that this could have been. Means that this is not old news. This is something that deserves congressional hearings. I just don't think, John, that Democrats realize just how much this hurts an already broken and rudderless brand on the Democratic side. Can we just have one prominent Democrat, particularly those running for president in 2028, who will just say the right thing, the honest thing and the logical thing? And here's what we need to hear. A, Joe Biden should have dropped out in 2022 to allow for a proper primary process on the Democratic side. And B, we were wrong to literally install a candidate in Kamala Harris without one vote or input from any voters. This was a failed and, quite frankly, pathetic attempt of a cover-up. And if Democrats want the trust of the American people back, they'll admit that Biden was kept in power as a means to an end to defeat Donald Trump in 2024, even if it was hurting the country from all those perspectives we talked about: national security, integrity, standing in the world, you name it. And this is what's dominating the news cycle right now. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's having the best 2 weeks of his presidency, including his first term, in terms of securing all these trillions in manufacturing, AI jobs during that Middle East trip, a positive report on inflation that continues to drop, positive jobs report earlier this month, reached a trade deal with the UK, negotiated a trade deal with China, one's coming with India, apparently, ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Eden Alexander, the last American hostage, is coming home. Trump signs an executive order to slash drug prices. That's one hell of a 2 weeks compared to what Democrats are dealing with right now, which is defending the fact that they didn't realize that Joe Biden, his brain turned to applesauce. They all knew it, and they all look really, really, it's insulting for them to say, we didn't know anything. We didn't know this was happening. Of course they did, and now it's playing out in real time, a real problem for the Democratic Party, John.
And that list of accomplishments that you just mentioned attributed to President Trump, I don't think anybody questions that the president himself is behind all of those. Meantime, you have to wonder, and maybe I can ask you, Joe, who was actually running the country during the Biden administration?
That's a question all of us have, John. Who was running the country? We see this book by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson with all these cabinet members coming forward saying that Joe Biden wasn't engaged. What we don't learn from this book, and if these authors truly had an interest in truth, they would pursue these cabinet members and say, okay, so who was running the country exactly? Who was signing all these executive orders? Who was in charge? And that is such a big deal. So for a Democrat to say this is old news, trust me, it is not. And the fact that we still don't know exactly who is running the country, whether that's Susan Rice, whether that's Barack Obama, Jill Biden, Hunter Biden, maybe we'll never know, but it's the biggest story of our lifetimes. And the fact that journalists are so not interested in covering this is a whole bowl of wrong.
And take it back even further. If you look at the 2020 elections on the Democratic side, Democrats were terrified that their nominee was going to be a socialist, Bernie Sanders. He was actually beating Joe Biden until the Democratic Party machine kind of decided, well, Joe Biden better be our nominee, and they managed to arrange that. And look what we got.
Yeah, John, look back at the results, right? Just numbers, forget opinion. In Iowa, Joe Biden finished 4th in that primary. In New Hampshire, he then finished 5th in that primary. And then suddenly the seas parted and all these candidates decided to just get out. for whatever reason, we know the reason, because the Democratic power machine, like you talked about, told them to get out because they figured, okay, a former vice president who has some name recognition, who we could portray as a guy who's in the middle of the road, a moderate, he has the best chance of winning. Bernie Sanders, self-described Democratic socialist, has no chance of winning. Let's make sure that Joe Biden wins, just like they made sure that Hillary Clinton won in 2016, and just like they made sure that Joe Biden was ousted and Kamala Harris was the nominee in 2024. Democrats talk about saving democracy all the time, John, yet they keep squashing democracy in terms of who they put up as their nominee, where it's all a fixed fight. It's the WWE of political parties. And again, if they want the trust back of the American people, this may take a long time, if not forever.
Quick look at the controversy embroiling the current occupant of the White House. He's taking some criticism from a guy known as the Boss. Here's what Bruce Springsteen had to say in Great Britain. Listen.
In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous.
Given what we just said about Joe Biden, saying this administration is incompetent is a bit of a stretch. But what do you think about what Springsteen had to say there, Joe?
John, it's times like this where it really hurts to say that you're from New Jersey, but I'm here right now. Trust me. When you have clowns like Bruce yelling at his audience like he's, David Hogg's great grandfather, dude, just play Jungle Land and Rosalita and shut the hell up otherwise. I mean, this is the same guy who was reportedly paid millions to perform for Kamala Harris when he could have just done a freebie. I mean, because when you're worth more than $1 billion, like Bruce Springsteen, one would think that stopping Hitler would be on the house, but apparently not. Yeah, I don't think it's news. I mean, Bruce Springsteen has been a guy who supported Democratic candidates for many, many years. But if I'm at his concerts, and I went to one in 2003 at Giant Stadium, it's now MetLife, I don't want to hear this. I just want to hear music. And if you want to have a little political statement, fine. This went on for a very long time. And I don't know, I guess aging rock stars lecturing about politics is not something that exactly is something I'd want to pay for at this point.
Especially when it happens overseas. It leaves a sour taste in the mouth. All right, Joe Concha. Joe, thanks.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.